to GamePlan 2024, where coaching dreams become reality. I've assembled a squad of awe-inspiring speakers to fuel your coaching business with top-tier strategies and, of course, boundless inspiration. Just like a coach fine-tunes a winning strategy, I've created this event to equip you with game-changing insights, resources, and, of course, that all-important dose of encouragement. What our extraordinary guests have achieved show what is possible for you too. Now let's talk action, because remember, implementation beats information any day. So here's your challenge. Uncover one takeaway you're excited to put into play. Come on into the Facebook group, share it along with your completion date, and let the magic of teamwork and accountability propel you to victory. So get ready to uplevel your coaching game, because today I have with me Kassy, I'm going to get your last name wrong, Pajarillo.
You did it just right. Perfect. Well done in your first try.
It's so hard to come out of my mouth for some reason. And we're going to be talking about something that's really cool, right? We're going to be talking about how we can get paid to create courses and automate courses and group coaching programs, which is exactly the scale. So before we get into it, I'm going to tell everybody who you are. So Kassy is a proud Filipina, an international LinkedIn trainer who has pivoted as the first high-ticket group coaching mentor, a startup founder of a progressive and transformative events learning company, fur mum of 13 dogs, wife, and the chief encourager of women coaches, consultants, and service-driven entrepreneurs. She sincerely believes where wealth is in the hands of good, happy women with integrity, nothing bad happens in society, especially when dreams are built together. I just love that philosophy, because I can't, it's everything.
That's right. Thank you so much, Liz. And hi, everyone. So nice to see you. And to meet those of you who are here on live and also on Team Replay. So hi, Liz.
So all pre-recorded, so nobody's here live, but they might come to a live event. We do. All righty. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about you, Kassy? How did you get started? How did you get to where you are today?
Well, there are several variations of this narrative already, but in a nutshell, I started when I lost my dream job as a hotelier in 2018 with only $90 in my bank account. And from there, my two general managers, I'm hotelier by profession, was encouraged me that, Kassy, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to be an entrepreneur. And you kept on resisting on being so. Thing is, I have been on and off entrepreneur since 6th grade, and I didn't even know what entrepreneur means, actually. So there are different variations of the story, but it's really more of like, yes, I'm one of those who lost their jobs in 2018 with my dream job. I was this close to having my ultimate goal in my career in the corporate ladder, as a hotelier, as a general manager, that is. And then in a month, I was able to put together a 4-day event, live, with a concert, with a job fair, with, oh my goodness, there's so many. And LinkedIn also flew in to support the endeavor with 4,000 people well attended. And I still don't know how I made that happen all in a month. But that was exactly how I developed resilience and knew that I really am made to be an entrepreneur, because I challenged myself with zero money, right? But again, as things were flourishing, people were thinking that, hey, Kassy, you can do this, you can do that. We partnered with tons of co-working spaces. With my dream partner also, which is Mind Valley. And there's so much more in that endeavor. And then, of course, just like with everybody else, the pandemic happened. So this is where the next iteration happened in the narrative. So yeah, so just like I'm sure those who are listening also went through the same story of holy okay. I'm not gonna curse here, but right, it's like, holy smokes, what am I gonna do? It's a pandemic. How are we gonna do things, right? So as I have been teaching LinkedIn every third Thursday of every single month for 3 years, I think, I said, why don't I just digitize it? And we were newlywed as well, and I had negative $5,000 debt. So the story of debt is happening again, and it was going to recur to millions if I didn't do anything. So it was millions of debt in projection. So instead, since I was a newlywed, we were newlywed, I said, and I saw the bed that my husband and I was actually sleeping on. It was a bachelor single bed. And I said, girl, you're not going to go back to your mom and dad's house and just and claim your bed, right? So that is when I just went straight to LinkedIn, practiced what I preach. In 7 days. I was able to make $5,000, and in less than 40 days, it was a $20,000. So basically, I was able to, if given, if it were a choice, was able to pay for all the debts, but instead I reinvested my business instead. Yeah. So that is my story, and now, that's why I sincerely believe when wealth is in the hands of good, happy women with integrity, nothing bad happens in the society. Because when you have, let's face it, money may not be everything, but it is everything. If you don't have money, how are you going to sustain your life? If you don't have money, how are you going to empower yourself even further? If you don't have money, the list goes on. And this is the narrative that I have been trying to also change or reframe, that we have to put an end into this entire thinking that money, you can't have it all. Yeah. Money does not be it all. But the thing is, again, money is a tool, abundance is a feeling, but you still need that money in order for you to make things happen. Yeah. So that is my story. That's why I am a Filipino high ticket coach. In a world or in a sea where everybody were beginners, or let's face it, we're in a third world country, I braved through it and I said, someone needs to be the evidence that they have been looking for. So I made myself as my evidence that I can sell high ticket. If Chanel and Louis Vuitton and all these other brands are still in the mall, we have a market. 100%. So that's it.
Yeah, and I really love what you said there, because I think sometimes we let our circumstances define us. And yet they are just circumstances. All that defines us is what we think. And that is a good example. And I think the fact that you highlight quite clearly, yes, people think that the Philippines is a third world country, but why are all the A brands there? How much money does it generate? It's all just perception. It's just perception. So let's dig in, because I know that you have a really good understanding of what it takes to create a course and become a course creator. And so if I was to say to you, okay, Kassy, I'm going to start one, what should I do in the next 24 hours?
Okay, so what I would always say is the strategy is everywhere. You can YouTube it, you can search on it on blogs. There's just so many things, but it's really a way of thinking. So my framework is really more of clear, transformative, progressive, and profitable. It's actually a way of thinking, not just really a framework, because everybody say you need a framework, right? But no. It's really more of having this way of thinking. So the first way of thinking is clear. So what does clear mean? Clear it means that you know for yourself what is it that you want to do, what is it that you want to design your life. I would always tell my clients, I want you to be selfish for a second. What is your dream life? What is your rich life? How would you want to define it outside this entire thinking of I need 7-figure dollars, I need 6-figure dollars, right? So for me, I would tell them, okay, it's not about the dollars, but rather how would you want to live it? So that's clear. So I want you to get clear of what is it that you want. Do you want to have a nice house, but why? Do you want to have a nice car? What specific car and why? So it's always about the why. Do you want it just because it looks luxurious? Or do you want it because it's a dream car that you've always wanted since you were a child? Regardless of what that why is, go deeper. So first is, of course, get clear. Now, when it comes to, of course, creating now your courses or your group coaching programs, it's about getting clear to who do you want to help. Now, how do you get to know this? I'm sure everybody has said this. I'm sure with all the interviewees or interviews that you've had, they've always say that. I mean, all of us would say that.
Yes, everyone,
right? Everyone. But yes, the quote unquote secret sauce. I hate to use secret sauce, but the magic, as they say. is really having to dive deep into assessment of what is it that you are good at. What is it that you were able to produce results? So for an example, for me, I'm really good at, I'm a curious cat. I'm really good at trying to know things because that's how my brain works. I love getting to know things and how to make things happen with an end goal. So I've organized triathlons, I have done concerts, I have done, I have made a band popular in the Philippines. I've made all these things not because I wanted the fame or or all the money or the riches, but rather I am a curious cat who always wants to prove into herself that you can make things happen.
Yes.
So you see there, so it's about number two, it's about that attachment to the result, but you are obsessed on making things happen. So the process. So just like project management. So that's clear. And the next is transformative. Transformative in such a way that this is your openness to actually share this genius that you have. It's genius that you actually share. I'm looking at the wrong camera. So it's genius. It's in your genius. So what is this unique brilliance, right? I have. So you were able to produce X result to a certain maybe industry or problem that you were able to solve. Now it's time for you to pass this on to others. Now this is where most people get stuck. They would now think that, oh, I am not that good. I am not an expert. I am not in all these things.
Yep, agreed. Yeah.
Right? But here's the thing. You wouldn't know how to get things better if you don't actually go for it and test it many times over. Just like in project management, right? You may have all the Gantt charts. You may have all these tools, but you have to know what are the nitty gritty, but only when you will know the nitty gritty when you get there.
Yeah.
And then you tweak, and then you adjust along the way. So that's transformative. It's having to transform not just your life, but other people's life with the thinking that you want to be better, 1% better every single day, and you want that other person also to get better every single day too.
Exactly.
Clear, transformative. Now, what about progressive? Progressive is all about system, process, and structure. So how do you get to have these three? It sounds daunting. People would always say, oh my gosh, Cass, it sounds so corporate. Oh my gosh, Cass, how am I going to help you? It's pretty simple, actually. Think about, again, the end result, and then reverse engineer what was point A, or where did you start? I mean, how did you start? And this is where you get to find the product market fit. Because you wouldn't serve, right? Let's just say it's going to be like how to become a nine-figure entrepreneur, nine-figure dollar entrepreneur, right? You're not going to serve, hey, if you have zero money right now and you want to become a nine-figure entrepreneur in 24 hours, this is what you're going to do. Then you're missing the point, right? So it's all about system, process, and structure. It's about a matter of when and never an if. System, meaning what are the tools that you will need in order for you to delegate and also to automate. System in such a way that how would you be able to have a machinery, have a car running and fueled, and then it's going to run swiftly or operate nicely. System. Now the process is where I would love most of you to stay obsessed in, because process changes. I don't know if you agree with that, Liz. You agree that process changed somehow?
Well, you see, here's what I think you've said that I think needs to be emphasized. We don't actually know how to create something we've never created. Hence, progress, small tweaks, and a process, the process being an outline that you follow so you get the improvement and you get the steps and you get the lessons that require the learning. So yeah, totally agree. Keep going.
Exactly, right? So system, process, and then now the structure. So the structure now is how are you going to make it the simplest way possible? Because the structure, it could be all sorts of things, right? But you're just one person, you can only stack so much in your knowledge bank. So how do you get to make that happen too, right? So structure is more of like thinking of it as what is the foundation. And once you have this foundation, you can now stack up the rest of the other skill sets, or this is going to be where your team is going to come in, or automation is going to come in. So the system, process, and structure. So clear, transformative, progressive, and of course, profitable. Just like what I said, I shared to Liz earlier, you can't monetize what you can't organize. So you've got to organize your thoughts, you got to organize the way you do things, and it starts with your five senses. Now, I know you guys might be thinking, Kassy, you're supposed to send me like strategies. Why are you including all this mindset work in here? Because, honey, it's really 80% in the mindset and 20% is in the implementation.
I'd actually
So what
that completely, Cassie. I'd say it's 95% mindset.
95.
Yeah. Here's the truth. Information's like you mentioned right at the very beginning. I can Google anything, anything I want to know how to do. There is an answer for me to have. So it can't be the information and it can't really be the implementation. What it has to be is how am I thinking? Because I'm the one that executes. Every strategy works. The person behind it is the critical ingredient. That's the key.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody is scared about AI. But in fact, why not reframe your thoughts of, hey, AI is here to make my life easier or faster. Now it's time for me to empower myself if I'm going to use it or not. Right?
Yeah, like the vacuum cleaner, like the microwave, like the oven, like the car before it. And I think that's the thing that we have to keep remembering is technology evolves, grows, and we as human beings adapt.
Yeah, so the businesses can be the same, but the tactics can vary. And this is the beauty of adaptation. So it doesn't mean that you have already a proven pathway. It's going to be the pathway forever. Why? Because again, technology is going to change. Adaptation needs to change. I mean, the market is also changing. People are getting wiser and more smarter, and they're even maybe better than you in the long run. So this is why you have to continuously progress as not just a coach, but also as a human being. So it starts with your five senses. So what I mean by five senses, in order for you to become profitable, it's having to ask yourself, am I listening to the right people? Am I actually surrounding myself with people whom I would love to become? Because that's what happened to me too. I just wanted to share that with the negative debts. I mean, with all the debts that I had, people might say that I'm a beginner. Sure, I might also tell myself I'm a beginner, but my way of thinking was more of like, I want to be in a room of champions, because if I am the smartest person in the room, run. You're in the wrong room, my love. So what I did was I invested a $25,000 coach. I was shaking, I puked, I vomited, I was so scared, I didn't know how to pay for the next month. I had all the dramas too, but I always keep on asking myself and telling myself, hey, Kassy, you are in this room because you wanted to be just like them, right? So do that damn work. And from there on, I said, okay, what are the non-negotiables? Now, coming from profitable, I would love you also to ask yourself, what are your personal non-negotiables and what are your non-negotiables in business? And here is where things get tricky. I would love you to ask yourself if you're actually walking the talk and if you're actually doing, or what you're actually saying, what you are, what your non-negotiables are. For an example, if you're going to say you are a high ticket coach, mid-level coach, low cost, whatever, how much that it may be, right? But the principle here is you're never going to miss a single month or an invoice, a single month's invoice, because your principle, do unto others what you want others to do unto you, right? So ask yourself with these five senses, am I actually also doing the same thing as what I'm saying that is my non-negotiable? I don't want my clients to not pay me on time because it's going to affect your bottom line, right? So the question is, do you actually miss out on payment on your coaches?
Yeah.
Because if you do, there's a disconnect here. So this is why you're going to stop.
And I take that further, because I think what I always remind my clients specifically is your business is a reflection of you. It is exactly who you are at all times. So one of the first, it's like that old dating saying, would you date yourself? So would you be coached by you? Are you that valuable? Are you going to show up and give it everything? And I think that's where a lot of coaches go wrong in the very early stages, is that they start to think that some sort of their expectations are that they don't have to do all of the work. or like
Yeah.
that I've never had a problem with payments, so I don't know about that. Touch wood, I never will. But things like that show up. They matter.
They matter.
Mm.
So that's why it's really important that you get to touch into this. But then again, entrepreneurship is the best personal development you're ever going to get into. And you will only know all of these once that you realize that holy smokes, did I just not follow my own principle here? Oh, maybe, this is why it's happening, right? So you get to also assess yourself. Now, that is going to be clear, transformative, progressive, and profitable. Now, with everything that happens, whether you have system, process, structure, you still need to have the clear, the transformative, the progressive, and profitable. You always have to think of that cycle, because this is how you'll be able to empower yourself on how do you make decisions. How do you empower yourself in terms of, am I going to do this? Am I going to retract back? And then, of course, what is your relationship with money? Now, I know your question was, Kassy, this is so far from how do you make a high ticket group coaching offer or a course.
Kassy, you and I know that this isn't very far at all, because here's the truth. 24 hours isn't relevant. It's totally irrelevant to what this conversation is all about. This conversation is more about who do I need to be in order to become the version of me that create a course that people will pay for. And then more importantly, not just pay for, but thrive in and get the result from. To me,
right,
conversation we're having.
Totally. But again, all these, I will leave the strategies and all the tactics to the internet. You guys can even ask ChatGPT. It's going to give you that.
Yes.
But we are here because I want you to thrive. And it all starts from that self-belief also. And also, when you work with a coach, this is something that oh my goodness, it's something that I have personally have experienced. I have worked with 7, 8, 9-figure dollar coaches, and I'm really proud of that, on being part of that room, because I know that I there is still more that I can do. And because I am in that room, and which I will invite you to also choose the room that you're part of, I would love you to ask yourself, am I actually the smartest person here? If I'm the smartest person here, it's time for you to change the conversation and switch the room and say, it's nice to see all of you, right? And then just keep on growing. Progress, right? You have to progress. Now, in terms of creating really the course and the programs, it's right. Even it's true, it's a reflection of you, and what would be that reflection 5 years from now, and how can you actually quantum leap to making it 3 years. I remember, I just wanted to share this with you, Liz. Coming from the Philippines, I'm a Filipina. Most people will look down on us because we're in a VA country, a nurse country, or whatever you want to call that. I refuse to accept that as the truth, because
it's just a label, and I think you get to decide what label you wear and how that limits or expands you.
Exactly, because I have worked with people in Europe, and what I realized is that everybody has the same mindset block in terms of creating what they really want. And with this kind of blockages, you have to step out of that narrative, that because, okay, I remember most people do this. I don't know why, but I think it's more of a self-belief. Like, they are going to charge differently if you are an international client, and if you are a local client, I'm going to price it lower. And I would always ask this, whether you're Italian, whether you're Portuguese, whether whatever, or UK, I don't know, whatever, right? People have that. Some people have that kind of thinking. And it's like, why does it even have to matter? Why does it even have to change? Because again, your self-worth has nothing to do with your offer. Your responsibility as a coach is to coach. It's not the responsibility to collect. Now, this is the first thing that I will tell people. Instead of hiring a VA to be a generalist, because that's what everybody was going to say. But for me, I would say hire an invoicing system, have an invoicing system and a VA to take care of the billing, right? Because again, I don't want you, the most problems happens in the coaching arena is this. When the other person, when the coachee don't get to pay on time, the coach is going to say, hey, you forgot to pay your invoice. So what happens here, the coachee is now going to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to attend another call because I haven't paid her and she's going to ask me to pay for her already. It happens, and that's not your responsibility. So, and then
I disagree. I'm going to jump in. I never disagree. I do.
Yeah, go for it.
Because it is
Go for it.
your business. It is your responsibility. But perhaps what you're going to do is to have a person on your team whose role
Yes.
it is to look after something. But I really do. I mean, I see too many people. This is my program management hat fully on. I see too many people trying to outsource problems because they don't want to step up and fix them and they don't know how to. And so if you're trying to bring VAs in to be experts in your business because you don't know how to do something, that's a problem. We don't outsource.
Oh, you have to know first, of course. Yes, I totally agree with that. You need to empower yourself that you know how to do so.
Yes.
Yes, of course, definitely. But
and you should have a policy about pay. I know you were talking about pay for a reason, but it's one of my triggers because I think that there's always people, if you're not being paid, it's because you're not delivering value. Fix that, you'll be paid.
Yes, or it's not just value. It could be, other circumstances to happen. Someone's mom died. Some, they're I don't know, whatever that may be. But again, I mean, I don't think Kobe Bryant's coach is going to say, "Hey, Kobe, you haven't paid me. I'm not going to coach you today in the
court." Because we value what we value, which is why a price tag doesn't really matter. It's what you
relative,
valuable, right? Which is why in the Philippines, most people couldn't afford to go into the Louis Vuitton shop, but they still sell their stuff.
Yeah, and that is why I created a course too just recently because I'm so sick and tired of people hiring other people, but they don't know what they're hiring.
Yes.
Like they don't know. I mean, yeah, you have a big cash month today. I'm gonna hire VA. Woo! And then things just falter, right? Because just like what you said, you're a project man. Well, I was a project manager too. Maybe that's why we speak the same language. You've got to empower yourself and know what are the things or the policies, again, system, process, and structure that fits your business. And then put in the expert in who can tweak that, make things better. And then at least now you have the same language and conversation.
And pay for the expert, not generalist. If it's a generalist, be prepared to train them.
Exactly. Right? So that is why, that's why my programs now is really more of like I have create and automate, and then I have my high ticket group coaching. Because my create and automate is really more of people who are scared that when they think that when they delegate or they automate, oh my goodness, I'm going to be, it's going to be cost. But that's not true.
No.
It's not cost, because if an expert comes in and you know what they're talking about, meaning you know the metrics of your business, you have KPIs, OKRs, all these things in place, and you have a not a timeline, due dates. Screw timelines. I like timelines, but I always let go of timelines anyway. But once that you have that, then delegate. And now when you delegate, that person who you delegate with won't fool you when they say BS, because you're like, you know what? I know what to look at. Step away, right? And the other one is my high ticket. It's really more of like, okay, how are you going to speak your truth? And also, how will you be able to step into your next level self? But again, the question is, how do you get to create the course? Well, basically, it's again, 95% mindset, then 5% in implementation. But really, it's doing the work by empowering you first, reverse engineer, stay, be selfish a bit by asking yourself, what is your rich life, your dream life? What kind of people do you want to nurture? Because the culture that you build is also what you will nurture, how you will nurture. And then, of course, what are your non-negotiables? And then ask yourself, if these are my non-negotiables, is this going to be something that I will empower myself to also be a non-negotiable to me too? Reverse engineer, apply. Now, don't get scared. I know people are going to get scared. Like, Kassy, if I create and I get paid, if it's going to be high ticket, I need to have tons of bonuses. I know you guys have heard this too. No, people buy not because of the price tag. People buy because the offer and the solution that you will be able to bring on the table.
They solve the problem. Yep. 100%.
That's all that there is.
Yeah. Yeah. I am so conscious of time. We could keep talking forever, like you said, but I know you've got this very cool gift to give everybody, and everybody, as per always, it's just underneath, so you can grab that and you'll see Kassy's contact details. So tell me more about your gift, because everybody's going to want to grab it.
Yeah. So I'm developing this guide for you. It's a PDF, it's a book, it's a mini book wherein I have identified the success levers that you will need in order for you to craft, build, and scale your group coaching offers or your courses. I will be able to share with you what are the things that you need to delegate and automate as well. And also, what is the simple process, the most simplest, easiest, and fastest way in order for you to get paid to create and also scale. If you are tired of launching your business, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to launch every four months, every quarter, then I would share with you how you will be able to snowball your income with this simple strategy that I also inputted, and of course the mindset work that you need to work on in order for you to get there.
Yeah, awesome. So you can grab that from down below. So Kassy, as we wrap up, if you were to leave our viewers with something that they could go off and do in the next 24 to 48 hours that would help them take some of this and implement it, what would you suggest they go off and do?
What I would suggest, if you already have your own coaching program, either it's a course or it's a group coaching program, I would love you to go ahead and message all of your clients. Go ahead and reach out to your clients, have a pulse check. That's what I call it, pulse check. Have a pulse check and just have an intimate conversation on how are they really. Ask them, how are they really inside the program? How are they really personally and their life as well? Ask them also, how are you actually showing up? What is helpful for them? What other support domain they need? How are they going to progress forward? What are the reality? Basically, have an intimate conversation with these people. Now, why is it important? In a world of AI where everything else is being handed over to us and written by AI, the human touch is still the most powerful force that people need. And people, yes, they went for your strategy, sure, with all these things that you have been teaching. But at the end of the day, they still need that human touch to say that things are going to pan out well, that things are going to get better, that this is just the beginning, we are going to progress together. And yeah, and just have that kind of conversation. And then be surprised, because with all those insights, what you can do is you can either tweak your group coaching program, delete stuff that may be fluffy now or it's not relevant anymore. Maybe this is your time to update your group coaching program or your course as well. Yeah. So this is why I would highly recommend for you guys to have a signature offer, run it for 3, 5, 10 years, and then just keep on tweaking it and tweaking it, tweaking it. You don't have to create many courses. You know, you just need to have one thing that you will keep on progressing. I don't think Louis Vuitton, right? I don't think Louis Vuitton and these other brands, will recreate the wheel just to work when they're hard, right? And if you choose your heart.
Back in time, they started with one thing, they got it right, then they expanded. So yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for your time today, Kassy. I truly appreciate it. It was a joy to get to chat to you. Thank you to everybody for viewing this one, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Thanks, Kassy.